The coronavirus pandemic and physical distancing are disrupting many aspects of our everyday lives. Adjusting to major changes in our well-established routines is difficult for many of us and leads to stress. Many children with ASD and other neurodevelopmental disorders struggle to adapt to even minor changes in routines and adjust to the unexpected. This need for sameness often helps protect them from becoming overwhelmed, and they may insist on keeping things the same, even when others assure them that a new way of doing things is needed or is what is best for them. The closing of schools and other services has surely impacted daily routines, but it's also causing many other unexpected events that children with ASD or other neurodevelopmental disorders must respond to. One of those unexpected events is learning at home with parents or guardians. Many children aren't motivated to do home learning tasks and may engage in problem behavior when asked to try new skills. However, with the right incentives and motivational support, learning new routines, skills, and habits is possible. The tool for providing incentives and motivational support for learning at home is positive reinforcement. The idea behind positive reinforcement is that when our behavior is followed by a satisfying consequence, such as praise, money, or recognition, the likelihood of that behavior happening again is increased. It can help to think of the satisfying consequence that follows behavior and keeps it going in the future as a reward. Positive reinforcement works because the brain connects the behavior with the reward, and we repeat the behavior with the hopes of being rewarded again in the future, even if we're not aware that this is happening. Positive reinforcement applies to everyone, regardless of age or ability, and shapes almost every aspect of our daily behavior because it helps us get things we like and avoid things we don't like. As an example, I enjoy my work and the satisfaction I receive from teaching and supporting others to help children with autism gain needed skills for success in the classroom and life beyond school. This is what motivates me to do what I do, but there are days when I'm less inspired to work, and this is where another important consequence that follows my work comes into play. My paycheck allows me to support my family, get the things I want, and avoid things I don't want. Job satisfaction and money are the rewards or positive reinforcement that keep me working even when I don't always feel like it. In the same way, you can use positive reinforcement at home to influence and motivate your child and get the results and behavior you want. There are 4 basic steps for using positive reinforcement to increase or improve behavior. First, you must identify the behavior you want to increase. Also, identify potential rewards. Put your plan into effect, and monitor and adapt the plan as needed. Let's look at each step in more detail. It may seem obvious that the behavior you want is cooperation with learning at home, whatever that means for your child. However, you need to be more specific so that you and your child understand exactly what learning at home means, and you both know when learning tasks are done. Your definition of learning can include functional skills, chores, school tasks, and so on, whatever it is you want your child to do or learn. You need to identify what and how much work needs to be done, as well as the quality that is expected, and/or how long your child is expected to work on tasks. The best way to specify what tasks need to be done and how long your child needs to work depends on your child's level of understanding. It may not be realistic for you or your child to complete all home learning tasks suggested by their teacher or that were part of their preschool intervention plan, or to work for the time recommended for their grade level or age. It's okay to set priorities and focus on the learning tasks that are most important to you or are most important to your child's or family's well-being. You may want to have your child work on skills they were learning at school or in their intervention plan, or on skills that are most important at home during physical distancing, such as hygiene and daily living skills. If your child can read and can work somewhat independently, you may want to use a daily to-do list that includes school learning, chores, hygiene, etc. A sample to-do list is shown here on the top left. If your child needs more support, you may want to use a visual schedule with objects or pictures to show what needs to be done. In the example shown here on the bottom left, the first uses pictures to show what tasks to do and in what order. In the second example, objects are used to show the same information. Another option is an I am working for chart that indicates how many tasks need to be done to earn a reward. The reward is indicated at the top of the chart with the item or a picture or drawing. The number of boxes below indicate the number of tasks that must be completed to earn the reward. In the example shown here on the top right, 5 tasks are required to earn the reward. The number of boxes can be adapted to meet your child's needs. You may want to start with 1 or 2 boxes and increase the number as your child learns to work cooperatively. You can use pictures or drawings to indicate the tasks, or use the boxes to check off tasks as they are completed. A first, next, then arrangement, as seen here on the bottom right, indicates that your child must complete 2 tasks they don't want or like to do to receive something they want. In the example, the child must read a book and have lunch before using the swing. You can use pictures, words, or drawings to indicate the tasks to be done and the reward that will be earned. The next step in developing a reinforcement plan is to identify potential rewards. What works as a reward is different for everyone. There are several ways to identify rewards your child may find motivating. You can observe your child during free time or when choices are available and note what items, activities, food, etc. they select most often, or you can ask your child what they want to work for. For something to be considered a reinforcing reward, your child must want it, be willing to work for it, and not get the reward without doing the tasks you want them to do. This is like Grandma's rule. First tasks are done, and then the reward is provided. If your child isn't willing to do the tasks to earn the reward, or if they can get the reward without doing the tasks, your reinforcement plan won't work. You may need to use the things your child values most to motivate them to cooperate with learning at home, especially if it involves tasks they don't like or don't want to do. Reinforcing rewards can include favorite food and drinks, treats, favorite toys, electronics such as iPad, TV, and computer, activities such as walks or riding a bike, movies, free time, and so on. Remember, your child must want it and be willing to work for it for something to be an effective reinforcing reward. It's also important to find as many reinforcing rewards as possible, especially as time goes on. If not, your child may get tired of the reward and it may lose its effectiveness to motivate them to do the work. If once effective rewards lose their influence on behavior, it's time for new ones. Finally, you must also decide how much of the reward your child will earn for completing tasks. You want to offer enough of the reward to motivate your child to work, but not too much. The size of the reward should match the amount of work they do. The more work they do, or the more difficult the task is, the more reward they get, and easier or less work means receiving less of the reward. For example, if screen time is the reward, you might provide 10 minutes of screen time for completing 2 or 3 easy short tasks, and allow 30 minutes of screen time for longer or more difficult tasks. Putting your reinforcement plan into effect means making sure your child understands to the extent possible, and then providing the reward when home learning tasks are completed. Some ways to make sure your child understands could be to show them or to explain it to them. Showing them may involve completing the task yourself first and then getting the reward in exchange. Once you've shown your child what to do, you can give them a chance to do the task in exchange for the reward. If your child can understand, explain in a relaxed and matter-of-fact way what they must do, the rewards available for doing it, when it must be done, and how and when the reward will be given. Be clear about what tasks they must do and about how much of the reward they will get when finished. Your child must understand what they need to do and that tasks must be done before the reward is given. If your child can understand some words, you may use a simple instruction where you name the task and the reward, such as first brush teeth, then playtime. By explaining the plan, showing them, or by giving a simple instruction, you are helping your child understand that you have some control over things in the home and they must do the tasks to get the reward. When the plan is in effect, your child completes the tasks as specified and they get the reward. To help your plan be effective, the reward needs to occur as close to the behavior as possible. This helps strengthen the link between completing tasks and the reward. Giving lots of praise for getting started, efforts made, cooperation, and persistence will also help your plan be more effective. It's okay to have some expectations about how well your child does the tasks, but don't put too much emphasis on getting everything right or perfect results, as this may undermine your child's motivation. Start with smaller expectations and consider slowly making them bigger based on success. Frequent reinforcement helps get behavior started. Reinforcement comes from the reward your child receives when they complete the tasks, but it can also come from the attention they receive from you. Give lots of praise, ask and answer questions, and offer encouragement. As your child learns the routine, you can provide less attention while they are working and combine your attention with other rewards that are given when work is completed. Some children can do larger tasks before receiving a reward than others. You may require your child to complete all of the tasks you've identified before receiving the reward, or you may chunk the tasks and provide a reinforcing reward after your child completes each part. It's okay to help your child so they are successful in earning the reward. Assistance may be given in the form of reminders to get started, help with difficult tasks, or gently pointing out things that they may have missed. It is most effective if you give as much assistance as needed in the beginning and reduce the amount of assistance as quickly as possible so that your child learns to complete the tasks independently. Giving assistance ensures your child is successful and earns the reward, and it helps strengthen the link between your child's positive behavior and the reward. When your child is willingly completing tasks, it's important to continue giving rewards some of the time. You may think rewards aren't necessary when you achieve your goal of having your child cooperating and completing tasks, but they are. You may give more praise and attention and less of other rewards like treats, but to keep the behavior going, you need to provide a reinforcing reward some of the time. If you stop reinforcing the behavior, your child's motivation may decrease, meaning the behavior you want to see will also decrease or stop. This might mean your child could become less cooperative, refuse to do the tasks, or engage in other unwanted behavior. You need to reinforce the behavior you want to see. Remember, we're all motivated by reinforcement. Once your plan is in effect, you want to be sure it's working. Monitoring can be done formally or informally. Formal tracking means recording information, such as how many tasks are completed or how long it took for your child to get started, to decide if your plan is helping you and your child achieve what you set out to do. Informal tracking means loosely monitoring how your child is doing each day. Whether tracking formally or informally, you use the information about how the plan is working to make decisions about changes to the plan as needed. Some changes that you might consider include adding new rewards when your child tires of current ones, adding more or better rewards for difficult tasks to help increase your child's motivation to work on them, reducing rewards for tasks your child finds easy, providing more assistance for things your child gets stuck on, and increasing the number of tasks your child needs to complete to earn a reward to help the plan be more sustainable long term. Positive reinforcement shapes much of our everyday behavior, and you can use positive reinforcement strategically to motivate and reward your child for doing things they don't enjoy or want to do. In trying to make the best of learning at home during the pandemic, the more encouraging you can be, the more effective your reinforcement plan will be. Say what you mean and show your child that you mean what you say by following through. Practicing positive reinforcement isn't easy, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And when more positive reinforcement is given, there is often a decrease in unwanted behavior without having to tackle it directly. When using positive reinforcement to motivate your child to complete tasks at home, be clear about the behavior you want to see. Identify rewards before starting, and try to find new rewards so you can provide variety and prevent your child from tiring of what you have to offer. If rewards no longer influence your child's willingness to complete tasks, it's time for new ones. Be sure your expectations are realistic. If you make the requirements too high, your child won't be motivated to work for the reward or will give up before earning it. If your expectations aren't high enough, your reward won't be sustainable. Either way, your plan won't work. It's okay to remind your child of the reward, but don't use it as a bribe. Give lots of praise and connect praise and rewards to following instructions and completing tasks. Give praise for getting started, effort, and persistence. Focus on the process of doing the work and what is learned along the way, rather than the final product. It's okay to have some expectations for the quality of work your child produces, but don't put too much emphasis on getting everything right or perfect results. Try to remain positive. Start with what is manageable and increase the number of tasks or the time your child spends working on tasks gradually. Be patient. The results of positive reinforcement may not be immediately noticeable, but if you have the right rewards and have realistic expectations, you should see progress. Additional information about structuring your child's time and using schedules to support learning at home is available using the link shown here.